So today I'm going to discuss about Ferguson and some points behind of things that have happened. So if you don't know, in August 9th, Michael Brown, who was 18-year-old, and a cop killed him. And he had no decision. The cop who shot him was named Duran Wilson, who was 28 at the time. He shot him 6 times all over the body and 2 times in the head. It's interesting, both of them were very tall men. Brown was 6'5" and weighed 209 pounds, and Wilson was 6'4" and weighed about 210 pounds. So after everything and mayhem had happened, a grand jury happened. But what exactly is a grand jury? If the prosecutor wants a court decision, found guilty or innocent, they present it to a grand jury and an audience of 12 different people to discuss the evidence, the proof. They should be in court, they should not be in court. Yeah, you're right, let's go to court. And they move forward. That's what should happen. So there's 12 people. 9 were white, 3 were black, 7 were men, 5 were women. So all of them, they must have 9 or above votes of saying they want to go. Most of the time, it's an easy grand jury. The court goes ahead and sets them on. When the grand jury took 3 months of discussion, and they met 25 times and brought in 60 different witnesses to examine in. The prosecutor at the time. Let me just tell you a little bit about his history. His father was a cop, and long ago in 1964, when he was 12, his father was negotiating with a black man who he wanted to arrest, and someone in the group shot and killed his father, right in the head. Died instantly. So, himself and his family are strong supporter. His mother, his uncle, his cousins work for the police department. And many times the prosecutors have a close and good relationship with the police department. Himself wanted to become a cop, but he was too young, and he had a serious disease that made him lose his leg, and he couldn't do so. So instead he became a prosecutor. So what is he doing? 4 years ago, 2 cops were dressed out, and they entered and they arrested 2 different black men. And they killed them both. The prosecutor, at the time, said, don't worry, let the court decide, don't worry about it. You shot 2 black men, no big deal, move on. So now, in today's world, that happened again, people were like, they're stressed about it. That's a huge conflict. They want to get involved. Cops' relationship in their family, they want to get involved. They refuse to let anything else just be given up. And they wanted a new prosecutor, and they said, let him go. They wanted a special prosecutor. And the governor at the time said, no, sorry, not happening. You're staying. So they complained a little bit. So anyways, they moved forward. So grand jury was against, if you want to be against the cop, you should bring both of the parties here. And the cop swears in and tells the story and his different points, but it was odd. The grand jury was like, turned down, you don't need to do this in court. We're done. A bunch of people complained when they said it was finished. Leslie Mix Shepherd was his father. Was Brown's mother, and his stepfather was really torn apart. But they said, please just believe, we can take her. They would give speech to audiences, and her husband, who is the newest stepfather, complained, and he was furious about this. He was in shambles. So one day it happened, he was confused, and he was just preaching to everybody and letting everybody know the police officer, he broke the law and the Constitution. Brown's father went to the church and burned it up. So now they're blaming him for that. You should go to court and encourage people to, come up with a conflict. Nope. I'm sorry that you're upset and complaining about this, but it's my own business, and I'm going to take care of it. Many people were upset and ready to destroy everything for him. President Obama said, why should you destroy it? And you should arrest all these people who are destroying this property. How is that going to help? And it's not going to help it anyway. And so all the people were fine. It's the right for the black people to be upset, not clueless of reason of why they're upset, obviously. For many, many years, for such a long time, they've been, upset with the police because they haven't treated them fairly. It's in the history of what happened with black people and police officers. So now black people are changing what they want changed, which is a good thing. So many people all over the U.S. were rallying and helping with the people. So they were blocking the streets in all different types of ways. People all over Washington, D.C., they would march and rally to the White House, Chicago, Boston, New York City. They would all come in and they would march to the U.S. Senate, California, Colorado, Arizona, Alaska, Texas, all over. Some people would lay in the ground of the streets. It's technically called dying in. So they would sit there and they would block the road so people were like, oh, how do I get across? So many people did that all over the U.S. to show complaints. And other things happened. On November 30th, a Sunday, there was a football game in St. Louis. It was the St. Louis Rams against the Oakland Raiders. The first football players ran out and they marched and they went out onto the field. And the St. Louis Rams players, they all run out onto the field, and 5 of them walk into the rally. Tavon, Kenny, Steppard, and Chris. Going up with hands up, don't shoot, hand signal. It was to show to support of the people who were supporting Ferguson. Many who were there that marched around did the exact same motion. Hands up, don't shoot. And why they did this is because Michael Brown did it himself and was shot anyways. Other players on the Rams team in the fourth quarter, they got a touchdown and they ran to the field and they finished the game, and other players like Kenny did the exact same thing again. After the game had finished, Steppard and the announcer wanted to talk, what was the plan before you started the game, what happened, and what's going to happen after. They wanted to show some positive. You need to stop fighting. That's what we're supposed to do. We as a team are going to show support in this rally. But now they're stuck with their players' schedule and other ways of supporting. My family will go there, and they told me what happened, and I understand what happened. And I support. I don't support just for Ferguson. I support for all people that this happens to. I don't want people to destroy things, though. I understand they're upset, but I want to help and show them, and the proper right way. I know they're young. They have young men, and they're looking up to somebody as an example. So there's good examples and bad examples, but they don't know what to do, and we want to show them that as a team, as a good example. So one of the officers complained, and he gave a speech. He was very serious about it. They had all the evidence. They were analyzing all the proofs at the grand jury. And they finished it, and they presented it, and they read it, and the team members ignored everything that was in it. They ignored it and continued doing the actions that they did. But that wasn't very appropriate. I understand that people are mad, but the businessman complained to the team. Jeff Root said, the grand jury finished. The proof is there's nothing wrong with it. Look, here's all the thing. And continue support and go against it. The VP of the Rams, Evan Demboff, said, I'm sorry that you're upset and complaining. And everybody said, oh, yeah, you're sorry. And they commented and they spread the word through emails and said, letting everybody know, said he's sorry. He said, no, I'm not sorry what happened. I'm sorry that you're upset and that you feel that way. And the team has to support the players. They have the right. And it's in the Constitution. You have, the privilege to do whatever you want, the rights of your own opinion, your freedom of speech, your freedom of comments. It's positive to support the officer, and, have the process continue on is what we wanted. Some people looked at that, the football players, as a negative way. Some looked at it as a positive way and congratulate them as good examples. But we don't want them to fight. We just wanted to show support. So there was the two different sides to that. The coach, Jeff, commented, punishment to the players? No, there was none. They have the right to their own opinion and their freedom of speech. They're allowed to say what they want. Be serious about that. The police group asked, please punish the players. We need you. The NFL asked them, please punish the players. The NFL teams and the Rams said, no, I'm not punishing the players. They have an opinion. They have a freedom of speech. I'm going to honor that. That's their rights. They can do what they want. Later, something else happened. Wait. Before or after? Before. Saturday, they signed up and presented to ask the police officer to quit his job. So they asked him to take away his pay, benefits, step down, but nothing happened. But why would they want him to quit? I want to make it a safe area for everybody. That is what the police are there to do. Fine. You quit. Good. Period. Done. Over it. But it wasn't enough for the court. Now the FBI is in investigation and doing research too to see maybe, arrest and give it off to the court maybe to see if that's going to happen. But